Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope your week is off to a good start. What I want to talk about today is just my journey to figuring out where I was so stuck and how I figured out that I needed to pivot. So, when I was laid off pregnant, I found out at 20, I think I was 26 weeks before the Warren Act started, and then it was 34 weeks I was laid off. So, I had a lot going on, right? I'm trying to figure out do I get a job and then take a break? Do I take a break? I had decided I would just take a break in my search because I didn't feel comfortable getting hired at that moment. And then I would start looking postpartum. So I was 7 weeks postpartum and put my daughter into daycare to start looking. And I was just applying and applying and applying. And I realized that it wasn't working. Like it had been 287, I think, applications, and I hadn't heard anything back. Um, maybe I had done less. I don't think I would probably, I don't know how many I did, but I'm pretty sure it was close to that. And then I was like, okay, so let me keyword match. Let me just go try it. I'll do TLAI and I'll keyword match. Let me see if I get a different result. So then I started to think about I'm super into design thinking. How can I apply that to my job search? And what was interesting was that I decided to take a portfolio approach. Okay, things aren't working. I'm feeling super stuck. If I take on an experimental approach, then maybe that's going to help me. And so essentially I had found this crazy app I paid for, which would just do LinkedIn easy applies all day on a bot. And I wanted to see if that would deliver any interviews. And then I had another thing in my portfolio, which was I was going to keyword match on TLAI, spend an hour and make these resumes perfect. And then the other portfolio approach was I was just going to network for the target roles that I wanted using design thinking and finding people. A lot of it's based on the premise of the 2-hour job search to go find people, have genuine connections and conversations. I think 2-hour job search is a lot more pointed than the strategy I took just because I wanted it to feel real. But the first one proved no interviews. The second one, no interviews. So I did 20 hours of time, no interviews. And then the third one, I started to get a lot closer. Hiring managers were getting my resume through the boosters I had. And I was like, okay, this is where I need to double down. And I think, for a lot of you and my clients, people are very hesitant to network. It feels icky. They don't want to do it. But just taking this portfolio approach and using the data was what got my emotional mind to align with my rational mind on really how what's going to be effective in this job search. And so I decided to only focus on networking. If there was a job that I really, really wanted that had come up online and I didn't have someone, then I would really gear it up and go find people at that company to network with. I would go ahead and apply. They disappear almost in a day. And then I would network with people to try and get my resume in front of a hiring manager. And I also realized that at that time that referrals weren't helping either. In the beginning, when I was trying that, my third portfolio approach was the networking, and even people referring me weren't landing in interviews. So I realized I really just needed to specifically ask, are you willing to reach out to the hiring manager? And if they say no, that's fine. And that's after they've offered to help me. But I didn't want them to think that they're necessarily helping me by just referring me online. I wanted them to reach out to the hiring manager. Now, I have gotten interviews by referrals at companies that actually look at them. So it's just kind of a roll of the dice. But I want you to just understand, if you feel lost in your job search and frustrated by the silence, figuring out a way to convince yourself to pivot is a really important place to be. What do you need to pivot? Do you need data to tell you that this isn't working? Do you need more informational interviews and networking under your belt to feel comfortable? Figure out what is keeping you from pivoting and go do that, because I think the more time you spend being frustrated is only going to hurt your search, hurt your interviewing. And I was desperate to get a job at the time, and it was coming out in everything. My scarcity, the fact that I was should I go, apply to lower level roles, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope this is helpful, but your one takeaway is think about how you can pivot and what it's going to take for you to realize that you need to.